Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King, and this is Boy.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
We're going to start off this week's programme with our CIT Marbella Guest of the Week. Regular viewers will know that each week this business networking association sends along one of their members so we get to know what's going on in our international business community. Today I'm welcoming back Pedro of Pemangar.
Correct.
Pedro, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, everything. Lovely to see you again.
Okay, thank you.
Pemangar, I remember the name because in Spanish to put your sleeves up is remangar. And this is Pemangar, and for me, if you're going to deal with creepy crawlies, which is what Pedro's company specialises in, I wouldn't want to touch it at all. It's an interesting company, an interesting topic. Infestation and cockroaches and that kind of world.
Yes. Infestations, pest control, no? I think in English is
that pest control. Oh, I have at the moment where I live by the beach. Also, there are restaurants around, and it's horrible when suddenly you get to see the cockroach.
Yes, of course. Yes, because you have to take into account that in this time of the year, many pests start to appear. No, for example, cockroach, ants. We have very problems with ants as well. For example, even it's possible caterpillar. Do you know caterpillar?
The processionary caterpillar.
Processionary.
Yes, we talk about that one.
They
very
are
dangerous.
going down from the pine trees in this time of the year. Maybe the last ones, but
they're still there.
Yes. And they are very dangerous, very hazardous for pets, for example, dogs, cats, because they can bite the caterpillar.
It's poisonous, isn't it? Could be for small dogs, it probably would be deadly.
Yes.
And they look like white candy floss, like little bunches of candy floss in the pine trees.
Yes.
And there are areas of Marbella that have loads of pine trees.
Yes.
So when you're walking with your dogs, you have to be so careful.
Yes. And in this case, people have to know that the best time to treat, to fumigate the pine trees is between approximately October, November, and maybe a little bit December, but before Christmas, because in Christmas I think it's very late, you know.
If they already have them, do you go and cut them out? How do you deal with if someone's seeing this now, like, I've got this in my pine trees? Do you also deal with that to take away the existing ones if they have them already?
Now, at the moment, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, but in this time of the year, yes, it's very complicated. But yes, you can use is something like a ring. That you can set around the trunk of the pine tree, you know, and when they are going down, they are captured.
Oh, you mean the flower arena?
It's like a trap.
Arena.
Yes. No.
Arena. It's the name of a.
Yes, it's like it's like a ring, very big. It's like a ring that you set around the pine trees, but in this time of the year, because the best treatment that you can do is between October, November. Yes, is the ideal time, no, or for doing that.
the cockroaches seem to have a very quick life cycle. They reproduce very quickly.
Yeah.
So what is the situation with those, with people who've got cockroaches in the house, particularly if you have pets, because you don't necessarily want to be putting down different things.
Yes.
So how does, if you go into, like, do you do whole buildings, or how would you go about treating different pests in the house?
Sometimes it depends of the species of cockroach, because normally we have the American cockroach that is normally what you can see in summer. Yes, from this time more or less, when the time start warmer, yes, in spring and especially in summer, that you can see into the drains, you know. And yes, for example, in communities or even in particular villas, or you can treat because the drain is the main focus where they live. So if you fumigate the drain, maybe it's much easier that you can disappear the problem. No, you can control the problem.
Which is always
better.
Always the optimum.
Yes.
Definitely,
Yes.
and put plugs in the drains.
And then we have another, there are many species of cockroach worldwide, no, in the world. But you have, especially in kitchens of restaurants, kitchen if in particular home, you know, that is the German cockroach. Yes, Blatella germanica is the Latin name, no? Yes, and this species of cockroach even is possible. Yes, I think is, in my personal opinion, is much more difficult to control, because yes, and they multiplied yes, a lot. It's amazing that yes, it's very important the cleaning of this yes, kind of business, no, especially restaurants and bars. The cleaning is fundamental. Is very important. And then, yes, we have, yes, different products to control. For example, bait. Bait is a product that the cockroach eat and die, you know. And yes, the bait is very interesting, because maybe you don't have to leave your house for a certain period of time, normally 12 hours, because yes, if you have to abandon your house, to leave your house for 12 hours, it's very complicated for many families.
For most people, yes.
So yes, that kind of product doesn't have yes, it's a certain period of time that you have to respect, no? Yeah, I say normally it's 12 hours. And yes, but sometimes we have to combine with other products much more toxic, but yes, they have a safety time that you have to respect. It depends on the infestation, the population that you have to deal with, you know?
Quite interesting that you have the American cockroaches in the drains and the German cockroaches in the kitchen. Do bathrooms have separate preferences for different times, or
normally American cockroach in the bathroom?
They also the drain ones. The drain ones.
Yes, and the other pest I have to mention, because it's very, very important, is the ant. The ant in this time of the year is terrible.
Also different types of ants? Or is it one species in particular?
Yes, normally, yes, you say in Spanish, hormiga negra de jardín, yes, black ant of the garden, yes. But there are many other species that they have come from outside, from other countries, no? For example, from Argentina, and it's very, very small. But it's difficult to control them. For example, you have to be careful with the kitchen, yes, because if you leave something forgotten on the table, you know, immediately many, it's possible. No, yes. It's possible that many ants come from outside, normally from the garden, because, you know, or yes, is the main, yes, cockroach and ants, I think.
You must be very busy right now.
Yes, yes.
But if you do need any help with pest control, infestations,
yes,
Pedro of Pemangar is there to sort it out, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really, it's really nice to see you again. Pedro, any words of warning apart from keep everything clean, which is obviously, I imagine, the best advice? Any other tips of advice for people at home?
Yes, especially the cleaning is fundamental. Yeah, you know, the cleaning is, but it's true that sometimes, for example, the German cockroach, normally they don't bring, they don't come from the drain like American cockroach, for example. No? So we can take them from infestation local, you know, so for example, yes, a workhouse or
making me itchy just
yes,
talking about all this.
Yes, you can transport the German cockroach with the bags of the shopping, you know. Yes, when you leave the bags, maybe you don't see the adult, but you have transported or you have taken the eggs, you know, yes, it can be the beginning, no, of the problem of the infestation
so
in
keep
a
everything
house.
very clean.
Yes, it's very
and keep
clean.
an eye out, and then also call Pedro Pemangar.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pedro.
Don't mention it.
Really a pleasure.
Don't mention.
And thank you, CIT Marbella, for sending along another fascinating interview.
Yes.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linea Directa. When you most need your insurance company, Linea Directa are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linea Directa really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online.
Zero Heroes, welcome to Urban Chai.
Welcome to Gusto e Fantasia.
Zerohero, welcome to LALALA! Yay!
Linea Directa has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineadirecta.com. Delighted to welcome back to the programme Dr. Masha, Malka, an eminence as an author, as a speaker, as a life coach, and as a friend. Masha, welcome back.
So happy to be here.
Oh God, I was thinking the other day how many years I've known you when you've launched books and the different things, and you're a Forbes collaborator and the this, and it's just then you're a doctor. And it's
a line dance teacher lately.
And a line dance teacher.
Yes,
that's a lot of fun. I mean, where do you find the time? I know where you find the time. You're a life coach. You know how to organise your time.
That's true. That's true.
So how's it been lately? Give me a quick catch up of what's going on.
Actually, so busy, in a good way. So quite a lot of work coming in. I'm launching a new business, but I'll talk about it next time. It's almost ready to talk about. But it's really good. I'm preparing for an empty nest. My youngest one is turning 18 in a couple of weeks. And it's a very strange feeling. You know, it's those who's been through it.
Having three children.
Yeah.
And it is when you're completely dedicated to them, to every aspect of their life and their futures, to then they're doing it.
Yes,
which is what you prepared them for.
They're great. It's me that I'm concerned about, because you're right. They dedicated they were my priority, and now I'm saying to myself, I don't have an excuse anymore. I have to, get on with all my goals and ambitions, and I've always had a lot, but I kind of put them on pause because I said, okay, let me raise my children first. That's my priority. I worked on myself at the same time, my business and everything, but now it's like, that's it. It's really mostly about me, and it's exciting and scary, and it's like all these emotions. It's cool though.
It is cool. It is cool. What are you specializing in? What do you find that you tend to, the people call you for, or that your natural tendency goes towards?
Well, it's I mainly tend to work with people who are either launching a business, running a business, entrepreneurs, want to go into business, want to leave their jobs, and it's something to do with changes. So, and the life these days is changing so rapidly. Like it's just things are flying into us, with AI and with. After the COVID, working from home, there's so many things that are happening, and people are overwhelmed with changes and what to do about it, the technology, the politics, everything. And so I help my clients find that inner peace and create clarity about, okay, what do I do with everything that's going on? Where do I want to go? Or maybe reinvent themselves in some kind of way. We create like a blueprint as to why do I want to go there, where is it that I want to go, and how I'm going to get there, and how do I need to adjust to that new me that's going to enjoy that new life I want to create for myself. So I work a lot with the mindset. 95% of everything that we experience in life, not just what we do, but also what we think, what we feel, how we react, even what we expect, what we project. It's really a program, the mind that's running it. It's not even conscious, it's in the subconscious. So in order to, if we don't have something that we want to have, and we try everything we've tried, it's not because we're not doing enough. It's not because we're not good enough. It's not because we don't have maybe enough knowledge or experience. It's because there's something in the program that's preventing us from experiencing things, from living that life. So I work a lot with subconscious. I use mind reprogramming techniques with hypnosis, with emotional freedom technique, or tapping, as some people know, and other tools, more commonly known, let's say affirmations. A lot of people know that, visualization. So there are different tools that you can use to actually work with the subconscious, which then helps you break through those barriers that kept you stuck for so long. It's exciting. I love this.
It is exciting, and there are so many changes. I mean, throughout life, as you just said now, you're about to be an empty nester, but before you didn't have children, then you become a new mother, then the kids are babies, toddlers, teens, then they leave home, they have careers, then we get older, and each phase you have to somehow embrace for what it is. Because it seems to me that we change like every 7 years. And as you're just getting used to one aspect and one way of being, everything changes. And then you have to readapt. And sometimes it can be challenging to realize it's happening and to know where to go with it.
For sure. And we change much more than every 7 years. You know why they say every 7 years? Because you know how the cells, and we're made of cells. Everything is made of cells. Our organs, our skin. Our skin is an organ, but everything is made of cells. And some cells die off and reborn again relatively quickly. Others take longer. But after 7 years, every single cell in our body is a new cell. So really, we're like a different person than we were 7 years ago. But that's physiologically speaking. But in terms of life changes or emotions or things that happen, you know, it could be. Nowadays, it's much faster than 7 years. Now change happens like time just moves so much faster. You know, I've been doing this work for over 2 decades. And in the beginning, when we spoke about long-term vision, it was always 10 years. Where do you want to be 10 years? Then we kind of moved to 7, then to 5. Now I'm thinking even 5 is so long. So now I'm saying like 3 years, you know, 2-3 years, because things are just changing so quickly.
And I think a lot of that came from COVID, to see that how everything was so important, suddenly it goes to nothing, and now not knowing what can happen, knowing that level of uncertainty. I think has made us a lot more of an immediate society, and also for immediate reward. I definitely see a change in the youngsters that could have been 11, 12 and below during the lockdown. They seem to have a different approach to the ones who were 17 and 18 a few years ago. It just seems to be a different focus, and I wonder if it has to do with spending all that time without their peers, being in this, you know, not being at school, everything being so scary, the outside world was scary. So they're very formative years for a youngster to be so scared.
Absolutely,
and such an uncertain world.
Yes, no, it's difficult. But you know, I believe that everyone goes through experiences that then build them to become who they need to be. So every experience kind of prepares us. We might not know what it's preparing us for, but I operate from the philosophy, from the belief that nothing really happens to us, it happens for us. And even though it's like, oh, our kids, why did they have to go through this? But in a way, yes, this level of uncertainty, but then seeing that life still finds a way. Like human beings are very adaptable.
Yeah, I just see a future of far less communication. It's hard for people to understand each other and communicate up until now, and I just see it being a lot harder in years to come for them to express themselves when they're not even used to looking and doing this. I mean, I used to spend hours on the phone talking to my friends, and now it's all just thumbs and WhatsApps.
You know, now it's considered to be rude to just call someone.
Just to call someone.
It's like, why are you calling me?
Exactly, but no, when we were kids,
you can be in the same house and
you're WhatsApping, exactly.
It's a
you can be sitting at the same table and be WhatsApping somebody. The levels are quite amazing.
I know, it's a different life. And I tell my peers who are parents, I say to them, you can't really expect our children, right, to be what we want them to be or how we think they should be. They're different species, not even different generation. They're like different species. They think differently. Their model of the world is so different to ours. The change between when we grew up and then this generation of our children is such a huge gap, really, because of so many things that were happening, that there is a lot of problems I see between parents and children not understanding each other, because the truth is they're really kind of seeing the world from a very different perspective, and so it's almost like they speak a different language. And if the parents say, "Oh, education is really important," and the kids say, "No, I don't think it's important," and then they clash about it. And I believe that we as parents need to listen more and actually try to see the world from our children's perspective instead of imposing what we're older, we know. No, we don't, because we did not grow up the way they grew up, and we don't understand the present or the future the way they do. So it's important to get to be on there, to understand where they're coming from, rather than just say, "No, I said so because I'm your parent."
I think totally agree with you, but I think even the expectations of educational certifications, even in that, it's changing, because it's a far more hands-on approach to life now than the preparation for. It's a different way of preparing in many cases.
Yes, I've been in doubts of formal education for many years. My background is education. I have master's in higher education, and I spent a lot of years in that field. I'm not a big fan of formal education, because there are definitely pluses, but it can be so much better. And nowadays, you're absolutely right, it's very niched. It's more about getting, you want to get a certain level of degree, at least bachelor's. I think everybody, I would recommend my kids or other kids to have. But then it's very niche, like the certificates in a specific niched area are much more valuable these days.
Yeah, and I suppose with AI, that's going to be increasingly so.
Yeah.
With them being able to do everything that's so general, you're going to have to find that specific niche. We are coming up to, on the 20th of May, the 9th Annual United Nationalities of Marbella Summit, which I hope, as always, you're very supportive and will be there. But
I've been there in the first one, I've been to
I know,
it's
it's just I couldn't do one without you.
Oh, well,
it certainly wouldn't be the same.
Thank you.
This year, it's basically, the title is Before It Happens to You. And that is that we're all going to be getting older. It will, hopefully, we agree on that, but hopefully it will happen to us, and we will get older. And sometimes we don't have family around, sometimes family around and they're not there to help. Sometimes there's all kinds of reasons why getting older can be complicated and scary.
Yes.
And the idea of the event this year is to take away that fear and to try and put in place some coordinated I suppose, points of reference so that people don't feel lost, because we have a lot to offer and there are a lot of associations and groups to help. It's just knowing how to get to them, who they are, and so that's what the objective is with the associations. But us chatting and talking about getting older, the lovely Mary Harbo, mutual friend, used to be talk radio presenter. She wrote a book, The Gucci Wars, and she did the Cindy Barnes' Grapevine lunch talk the other day, which I'm terribly sorry I couldn't be there, because it must have been,
amazing.
Wonderful. I mean, the little bits I saw on the social media of nipples forward, women. And,
yes.
So must have been quite an eye-opening luncheon.
Oh, she designed, she crafted, I should say, the most amazing talk. Like, I've never seen that much attention paid to somebody like speaking. Probably because it was so relatable. She just knew exactly the points, like you're saying, right? The pain points and the fun points about. It's like you gotta laugh sometimes, but it's also serious. But you don't want to take it too seriously. And you're absolutely right. The older we get, the luckier we are. But at the same time, it's good to be prepared. It's important to have the support system. It's important to understand the changes and to accept them gracefully. I'm in that space now. I had a crisis when I was about to turn 50. I was like, oh my God, that was. And I remember I wrote all the things that I achieved in my first 50 years, and I thought, okay, I decided that it was half of my life. and like what I want to do the next half of my life. And then I made this big list of everything else that I want to do, like a bucket list of places to visit and things to achieve. And I got excited again about this next stage in my life.
Important to have, in Spanish it's ilusión, something to look forward to have that something that helps you get out of bed in the morning.
But you know, it's that statistically, if people retire without something to look forward to, without a sense of purpose, the cases of early illnesses and deaths, like, they skyrocket when you don't have something to retire to. It's a difficult point for people when they their sense of identity is attached to
a job normally.
A job, or being a mother, or being a wife. Sometimes, unfortunately, we lose our partners or a husband. We're talking, you know, both. And then that sense of identity is kind of shaken or disappears. And like, okay, who am I? It's not just what do I do now, but who am I now in this life, in this place? Where is my value? Like, how do I influence, how do I value and how am I significant now? What can I do? And when it's important to reevaluate and say, yes, I can do this and I can do that. And I was having this conversation yesterday with a gentleman. He recently retired, and he kind of said, I can never retire, but I did. But I really don't know what to do with myself. And I can see, like, some people, they're happy being in retirement. They create a very nice life for themselves.
Golfing and lunching,
and lunching,
and dining,
and they're happy with that. But there are people, they can't do that. Like, they need to have
a reason, a purpose.
Exactly. So we were talking, and then I said to him, and he's had a very fascinating life. And then I said, why don't you write a book? This can be a project. I even know somebody who can help you, and And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I can do that. And I can see, like, his eyes starting to sparkle, because the minute you get some kind of exciting goal to look forward to, then it's like, you're right, it gives you that reason to get up in the morning, that purpose. It's like, I'm creating a legacy, which is what I said to him. You know, you've done so much, but eventually it's forgotten. When you write it in the book, it's part of your legacy. It's all the lessons that you've learned. You can pass it not just to your children, but to other people. And it just gives you that sense of, I make a difference.
Exactly. Sharing the words of wisdom and the experience, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's like, I think also that's part of, you'll probably at the same time get to re-appreciate some of those special moments they've actually lived in our lives that we take for granted, because we don't often stop to celebrate our little successes. Once we've got one thing, we're just on to the next.
And come to think of it, as you said, we've known each other for a long time. And it's only recently that I learned, when we were with our girlfriends, whom we all know for many years. And somehow this topic came up. I don't know why we started talking about some stories from the past. And it was so eye-opening. Like, your book, your autobiography, for example, would be so fascinating. Like, there's things about you that I thought, wow, or other friends, right? I think we all have a book in us in a way that is very fascinating.
It's only some people who actually then get it onto paper. You've written several books. I like them because they're simple guidebooks. The one with the perspective, when you were talking before, a different perspective, and I immediately visioned the house, and I'm standing on one side, and I see the front door and the two windows, and I'm ringing on the phone, I'm outside Masha's house, and someone else is at the back door, and they don't see the windows I'm talking about, and it's like, doesn't look like there's anywhere to go or whatever. I'm looking at the same thing, just from different perspectives. And that's what brings up a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misunderstandings, which can be avoided.
Oh,
Definitely.
Absolutely. Like I said, we all see the world through our own window of perception based on that program that we're running, but the program for everybody is different. Not only we see it differently, we expect everyone to comply with our values. We have a set of values. We think everybody lives by these values, but no, people live by different values. What's important to you is not important to them. And then you say, but how could he or how could she? And this person thinks, what did they do wrong? Because to them, they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. Particularly in a city like Marbella with 140 plus different nationalities, in the sense that I'm English, you're Russian, but in the sense, and we could be in a group with people from South Africa and they're Italian and they're whatever. I mean, it's just Irish. There's a whole different mix of nationalities. But when I walk around Marbella, even my Swedish friend, for example, they can see the sense of humour is certainly different. And therefore there can be misunderstandings that if you let it, if you're not reminding yourself, wait, they're speaking in a foreign language, we're expressing different, frequently speaking in a third language between us.
Yes.
To take all these things into consideration.
A quick story, you just reminded me, maybe not related to aging, but I was reading in the chat for young girls that are dating, I don't know. And this woman, she said, I need some advice. This man invited me to a restaurant. And when I walked in, he sent me an SMS saying, I'm at table 36. When you come in, just go to that table. I'll be there. And he said, but how dare he? He should meet me at the door. If he doesn't meet me at the door, should I even go there? Or should I ignore him? Why isn't he meeting me? And I'm thinking to myself, the woman was Russian, obviously. Who else is going to expect to be picked up at the door? The man obviously wasn't. And I'm thinking, it doesn't even cross his mind that she would expect him to go to the door. He told her he was there on time, he was early, he said, I'm at this table. And then it could create this, I don't want to see you, you didn't meet me at the door.
Exactly, because it's you haven't respected me enough to meet me at the door.
But it's what you're saying, different cultures.
Different expectations.
Yeah.
So we need to talk more. I love it when we get a chance to sit down between Muslims and Jews and Catholics and we all just talk with that confidence of that you're friends first and can share, because the first time I had one of those deep conversations, I was amazed that the Judaism and Catholicism and Islam share prophets and the same God. I mean, all the fundamentals, basically. So that's not why we should all be fighting and arguing. It's amazing what we don't know, what we just take, we think of Africa, for example. And I think most of us just imagine dry, arid, barren land and not the cities that are there, because they have amazing cities as well.
Yeah.
Very curious. We have very limited knowledge.
Yes.
Very blinkered beliefs as well.
A lot of people do,
frequently. Yes. So what's the next on you got this new project that you'll have to come back and let us know when you're ready? Yes,
it is. I'll tell you, it's actually for women over 40 who are facing this, the onset of menopause and the empty nest syndrome, and maybe retiring or maybe divorcing, maybe all the issues that women deal with. But it's going to be something amazing. And I'll come with my partners and I'll tell you who they are after.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
As you're saying menopause, I'm thinking of all the horrible things that happen to us women that begin with the word menopause, menstruation, mental. It's just what is that?
That's very funny.
What is that? Anyway, Masha, thank you ever so much. Lovely to see you again. And we'll leave that on a giggle.
Yes. Great being here.
Hey, hey. Zero Hero, welcome to Mare.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new.
Tiro, ¿no? Ok. Eso por ahí. Este por aquí, a ver si sale bien. No, por ahí. ¿Vale? Un poquito por ahí. Apple. Y un poquito de agua. ¿Verdad? Ping, ping, ping. Partimos. Very good. La manzanita.
Thank you.
Primero, ¿no? Vale.
Mocktails.
Listo.
Zero Hero, welcome to the sister restaurant.
Zerohero, welcome to Sunday.
Zerohero, welcome here at the Guacho de Banus.
Zerohero,
Welcome to Picu Banus.
Zerohero, welcome to Hotel Marbella.
Linea Directa appreciates just how important our pets are to us, and that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market, from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineadirecta.com. As mentioned, United Nationalities of Marbella Summit 2025 is on Tuesday this year, the 20th of May. We'll be joining together the different associations along the Costa del Sol that support the elderly, and there are lots of them, but sometimes we just don't know how to find them. When the Age Concern Marbella San Pedro launched, I was friendly at the time with Lynda Woodin, and Lynda's joining me now because that was 9 years ago. Age Concern Marbella San Pedro is well established, but now it's time to bring up this topic again.
Yes.
And to try and get even more support in general, because there's a lot of things I think that the Age Concern Marbella San Pedro, Mijas Torremolinos, Estepona, you must all face very similar issues, and yet a lot of it obviously is very different depending on the area coast you live in.
Exactly.
Because each town hall has different amenities and facilities, so it's very essential that there are the individual groups.
Yeah, and different ways of operating as well, because Estepona go right down to Soto Grande, and they do have a shop. In fact, I think they've got 2 shops now. And of course that brings a lot of money in for them in order for them to be able to go out and see people and volunteers and so on. And then you come to Marbella and San Pedro, and we go right up to Benavice, Ronda, which is quite a big area. And right at the other side, up as far as Calahonda. And then, of course, the last one is Fuengirola, which start at Calahonda, and they go up, and I believe, almost to Torremolinos.
So, I mean, there is a lovely infrastructure in place, but so many things to do. And a typical day, week, with Age Concern Marbella San Pedro, Lynda, I mean, all kinds of issues must come up that are so varied and but at the same time common, even if they feel like each person's going through it for themselves the first time. What are the things that you think people most need?
Well, quite frankly, I think once one partner dies, that is probably the worst time for the other person.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I know, and it's very, very sad, because what happens is suddenly they've lost half of their wing, so to speak. And it takes a little while for them to, pull themselves together and get up and go and dust themselves down again. So we offer, certainly in Marbella, we offer all sorts of things that people can go and do in our little office that we've got. Or it's actually a bigger space than an office, but it's actually great. And you can go there and you can play cards, or you can sew, or you can learn how to do art. And also yoga. Yoga. And then we also now have the odd lecture on various aspects, like computers and telephones and how do they work and how not to be scammed.
Yes, that's a big one.
Which is important.
I had a phone call today from a potential scammer. And
a potential scammer.
Potential scammer. I would say it is a scammer, but it was the same thing. They were saying they're ringing from the something electricity, but it was the way they said it.
Oh,
and
you were being scammed.
Yeah, and the way that they were offering, and I'm like, but what to do what? And it was the way they were very, nothing was specific, but they were going to better my rate. And I asked them, well, you better ring me back when I've got more time. But I went and put the phone number in and the name they said, and it came up with probably a scam. This was running a few years ago. And again, it's like saying that they will compare the prices of electricity for you.
Yes.
But basically, it's just a scam. So it's really nice that as we get older, we're not really looking out for these things, are we? We're just not as aware.
You're more gullible, quite frankly. You know, because we all trust everyone. And when you get older, and especially if you're on your own, which they don't necessarily know, but they probably assume, and you are vulnerable, very.
So it's nice to have, as Marbella does, an age concern where you can phone. In fact, I've had occasion, I wrote an article in the Euro Weekly about it, because through some friends and people I don't actually know, I get a lot of people ring me asking me for help and to direct them.
How do I do this?
Exactly, and what do I do? And it was funny, a couple of times on a Sunday, one Sunday and the following Sunday, I ended up ringing Age Concern. They answered. They gave me the best answer because I rang 30 people. But Age Concern was where I got it. So it works.
Yay!
It works. The system works, but of course it needs the community to be really involved to make it work.
And the neighbours.
Better.
The neighbours need to look out for their neighbours, so to speak. And once you sort of realise that there are 2 or 3 people less fortunate than you are yourself, then you can go and see if they need any help in any capacity. Because we also have people going around doing food, you know, because there are quite a lot of elderly people who can't walk very well now. So we do have a food service where they can order, they have to pay, but they can order, you know, Sunday roast, they can order anything that they really want.
Is that a restaurant that collaborates, or you have agreements with different...
various individuals that do various different types of food,
lovely.
which is great.
So it's not like restaurant prices, you pay for it, but it's sort of,
no, it's
imagine
usually around
more normal.
€5 for a proper meal.
Well, that is just amazing.
Well, they don't have much money. A lot of people literally survive on their pension alone. And a lot of pensions are not great. And I think specifically out of the UK, they're not great. Being very naughty saying that. But it's a worry because I believe that Swedish pensions, or Scandinavian, let's put it that way, they get quite a lot more, you know, when they've retired than we do.
And it is worrying because a lot of people moved out here in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and of course they're getting on, and we're going to have not like a baby boom, we're going to have an elderly boom.
We've got it.
I mean, we've already got it, but it's and it's just going to be increasing, which is why for the United Nationalities this year, I've decided that the main line has to be before you need it.
Yes.
Because that's basically what we're talking about. Before you need it, let's get it.
We look after
everything in as much in place as possible and as much support as possible.
Well, we look after people from basically 50 years up. You know, obviously they start to need exactly what sort of service we can help them or operate for them or whatever they need, because they're retiring from work and they suddenly think, oh my God, I'm going to have so much time on my hands, what am I going to do? So they can hopefully come to our lunches, of which I'm doing one tomorrow.
Lovely.
And then another 4 weeks, I'll do another lunch and we'll do a dinner in the middle of the year.
And then there's the activities in the club as well in San Pedro.
Yes.
And people are obviously willing
and come up with
welcome
ideas.
to suggest and offer their services to make more things. So I think that's a little bit what it's about this year, is just bringing awareness.
Yes.
And hopefully some funds for those who can't afford to keep themselves.
Yes.
Then we'll do our best within the community to make provisions
for them.
For them.
Yes.
So this is really, it's for them, it's for us, it's for everybody.
And lots of volunteers all the time.
Because hopefully we are going to get older, and we will want to pray that we get older, and it's not to fear getting old or worry about it or regret it. We're lucky that we're alive to get older.
Well, we are actually, and hopefully fit.
Exactly.
You know,
and keeping fit. So that's
you know, chair yoga has been really, really popular, which is great. I think Rachel runs that. and she does very well. And obviously, if you have got bad chests and things like that, we have a specialist that actually does nothing, but gives you lectures on how to breathe properly and assist yourself, and that is Dr. Rachel.
Well, I have to say that once Dr. Rachel was on Good Morning Spain, and she was saying about when you're really breathless, to bend, you know, she's saying about athletes, and you know, when you're running or something, and you bend over, you put your hands on your thighs, and you bend over, and she was explaining how that opens up the airways. And one day when I was poorly, I felt so breathless, I really couldn't get out. I mean, literally walking out the lift, it seemed too much. And I remember what Rachel said, and it was like, oh my God, again, it works.
Oh, wow.
It really works.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see that one.
I will show you when we get up, not now, but it was literally, you stand up and then you bend over and you put your hands like here, and you know, you put when you're tired, when you're running, like you're doing, and it really worked. So, yes. And I've done one of Rachel's courses, and that was really, really good.
I did her course. I think maybe we might have done it together.
It was very, very interesting.
Yes.
And you know, I find it hard to sit still and listen. And I sat there for like 2 hours without moving. It was well interesting.
And she actually went around all of us and asked us, you know, how our breathing was. When I did it, I can't remember when you... I did about 3-4 years ago.
Yes, it was a while ago, but definitely. So if you see these breathing groups, especially Dr. Rachel Garrett, couldn't highly recommend that, because been there, done it, not worn the T-shirt, but have practiced, and it works. It really...
But the other thing is, you know, U3A is very, very good.
Right.
You know, we're talking age concern, but that is also fantastic for being sociable and going to lectures, and, you know, if you've still got your partner in particular.
Well, they're definitely ones. This is why after the programme, Lynda and I are going to be having a meeting, because Lynda knows all these people related to the elderly and that community, not because you are of that age yourself, but you helped set everything up from the very beginning. Oh, you've been so instrumental in getting it off the ground with Tom Burns, rest in peace. And, and lovely Carol Warner, who's now the president, carrying on the good work. So it's really...
Sandra.
And Sandra, yes, and
she's been amazing.
And answering phones on Sundays. I mean, great work, all of you. Really great work. So the U3A also is for socialising more, but there are a lot of activities.
A lot of activities. And you just join the activity that you liked, because you've got hiking, walking, different things. And then I actually belonged to the writing group. I don't now, but I did belong to it. And I absolutely loved it. And if you're sort of an aspiring writer or want to do a book, I can highly recommend it.
Oh, it's funny, because Masha was just saying before about a good thing when you have time, when you retire, is to write a book.
Yes.
And so just saying, let's help out there. Look at that. You've got the U3A, you've got writing clubs and everything as well. It is fun, because then you're with like-minded people. You know, and a lot of things also, I suppose, walking dogs
and
at the rescue
meeting different
centres.
nationalities as well, which is wonderful.
Definitely.
Well, they've got a few thousand members actually now, U3A. I think it's incredible. And of course, they've each got their own little group, and they stick to whichever area they are. And I think it's fabulous.
Wonderful.
I really do.
Well, Lynda, I can't thank you enough for coming in to say hello.
Well, nice to see you.
You look lovely. I love it when you wear your hair with your hairband.
With my Alice band.
Your Alice, that was cool. It's an Alice band. I love your Alice band.
Thank you, darling.
You look lovely. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for everything you do for our community. And before we go, one last thing. One of the things, I think the hardest thing I've noticed for people to do is to ask for help. What words can you say to this camera here out there, people who know they need help, but they don't want to ask? They've been brought up not to ask. They don't want to bother you. They don't want to. Maybe it's not for them, it's for somebody else. What would be your words of encouragement and bringing people down to earth to say, call, if you need help, call?
Well, yeah. I mean, you would usually phone the helpline and just say, do you have any things going that I could possibly do? Can I come into your offices and see you and discuss things? Those are the sort of things that I would do, because I recently, 2 years ago now, became a widow, and a week later one of my best girlfriends had the same issue, and we luckily have got each other to help each other along. But there are many, many people that don't have anyone. So we're there, and we'll help you, and we'll introduce you to people, and we'll come round and have a cup of coffee with you. We'll take you out for a cup of coffee. We do coffee mornings. So it's actually really, really nice just to get you into the the
not to be
swing of
alone.
things.
Not to be alone. Someone to talk to
yes,
as well.
just get out of that house and don't be sorry for yourself.
Hard not to be, but yes, wise words. And again, sorry for your loss. It's hard to believe it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And
I feel as if he's still around, funnily enough.
He probably is.
Yes.
He probably is. He's watching your every move, young ladies.
And you.
I'm going to keep an eye on the wine level.
Yes, yes.
Lynda, thank you so much.
Pleasure and lovely seeing you, darling.
Yes, lovely to see you too.
Yeah.
Well, Lynda, I'm sure will be back again soon because she's going to be helping me very much this year with the United Nationalities and Marbella Summit 2025, say the date 20th of May. The nice thing is through my column in the Euro Weekly, which I wrote about this the other day, I've had a few phone calls from people very interesting dealing with this type of matter, and they will be getting involved. So if you have a service or require a service or have a suggestion, please do contact us. You're all very welcome at the event. There is limited seating, so it's important that we get the big wigs and busybodies involved because obviously those are the ones who are going to follow up on afterwards to make sure things happen. Well, that's it for this week. Lynda, thank you.
Yes, pleasure. Lovely seeing you.
Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and check out recordings of the programme from my website, nicoleking.es. Links to my column, Marbella Moments in Euro Weekly News, Zero Hero website with an ever-increasing list of designated driver-friendly venues, and of course to here to RTV Marbella.tv to the programmes that you can watch repeatedly and at your leisure. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.
You feel it's gonna